Good afternoon, traders, and welcome to this week's weekly market analysis. Today, Monday, the 5th of June. Before we get started, as always, please understand that any advice in this session is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Alright, so let's have a look at what we have, what's happened. I'll just put this up so that we can start to look. These are the coming events that are due this week. All the times that I'm displaying are in my local time, which is Australian Eastern Standard Time. So that's Sydney time. Last week, what happened? We ended the week with non-farm payroll, which was a little bit dramatic. Now, there was a little bit of a surprise that the job numbers themselves were down there, and the employment figures were down surprisingly, but the job numbers were not on the correct side of the data. Consequently, it seems that a lot of investors are losing patience or confidence, let's call it. Fed reserves, the Fed now um, considering a June rate increase is kind of a little bit under pressure, and not sure if it's as a certainty as it was, say, 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, the Fed fund futures had it at a 100% probability that it was going to happen. That has now dropped off, and I think it's sitting at about 86% the last time that I saw it. So now it's look, the reality is that it's still a very, very high likely chance that they will increase rates, but what they say with that decision and what kind of a picture they paint for the remainder of the year is really what it's all about. So this is critical. Non-farm payrolls did not help that cause. The data was relatively seen as not good. Most of the recent data coming out of the US has not been as strong as it would have been, they would have liked, so to speak. So now we continue and we see what happens. Now this particular week coming up, it's a very, very quiet week from the US side. So it's probably over this week, the US dollar's pretty much going to be traded against its counterparty. So against what pair it's being compared to is the one that's more than likely going to dominate. Okay, so that's what happened last week. Now, also from the UK, we are coming into the election this week, and we've had all these acts of terrorism. It hasn't helped the British pound itself. Also, at the moment, the British pound is very, very susceptible to any kind of news headline. Something comes out in the format of news, and it shakes and moves and rattles, and it's very, very volatile. So we've seen the GBP has fallen off that 130 handle, and it's trading very, very tight. When we look at the charts, we'll see what our possibilities are. But the elections are this week, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. But let me just focus first on what data we have for us this particular week. Now, the ones that concern us the most is, of course, the first Tuesday of the month is always RBA rate decision time. No one really expects there to be a change in interest rates for Australia, but let's see what the statement that is delivered says about our economy and how we may be able to shift and move around. Aussie dollar's actually got quite a tough week in terms of data. We also have GDP on Wednesday, and on Thursday we have trade balance numbers, both local from Australia and from China, which impacts the Australian dollar significantly. Our attention then moves to the GBP, which again I said it's on Thursday, it's the elections. Now, just to give you a bit of a summary, the tactics that Prime Minister May pulled with this shock early election was she was trying to get a majority and an overwhelming win to basically strengthen her negotiation powers when it comes time to negotiate with Brexit, which is for the Brexit talks, which is due to happen very, very shortly. Now, at the moment, she only leads by 5 points, and that's compared to 15 2 weeks ago. So she's at the moment, look, no one really thinks that she's going to lose this election, but even if she wins it narrowly by a narrow margin, that is not really good, because remember the idea again was to get a strong win and really come into the table and negotiate from a position of power for these Brexit talks. If she does get a narrow win, or should we have a surprise that she actually loses, well then that just throws everything into turmoil, and we could see big pound losses should that happen. Okay, so just look, there's still time. She could still, there's still 4 days to go, and it could still end up that she wins it with a comfortable margin and it achieves the original objective. Okay, but that's the pound, so we should see that move and shake throughout the day as votes are counted and so forth. We also have from Europe, we have monetary policy statements and rate decisions. Again, from Europe, no one really believes that there's going to be a change, but nevertheless, let's see what they say, what they accompany their decision with. So that's for the euro on Thursday. And the last significant data for the week is really from Canada, and that's the employment change, and that's on Friday night. So those are the highlights for this particular week. Of course, these are the data that which heavily impacts the market. Please take note of those. And I think for this particular week, the currency that's going to be the most driven by data alone is going to be our own Aussie US dollar. Okay, so keep an eye out on that, and let me bring my charts forward and we shall begin the analysis. If you do have questions, please post them in. There's a couple of questions just floated up right now. Okay, actually before I get into my charts, trading challenge update. Well, there's not much to report today. There's been no trades. We're still searching. Look, it's just a patience game. That's what trading's about. Well, at least it is for this particular strategy that I'm using for the challenge. Alright, let me bring my charts and let's kick off with the Aussie dollar. One moment while I just read a couple of comments. 1 second. Okay, the question is related to the US yen, so I'll answer it when I get to the US yen. Alright, let's kick off on the Aussie dollar. Alright, let's have a look what we have. Now remember last week we were trying to catch something here to go back down into this direction, and nothing really came along. So it did come down, but I wasn't willing to trade it unless I saw something, and I can feel there's a little bit of compression at the moment. It's not so obvious on a daily chart, but give me one moment. If I step into a 4-hour chart, I just want to see if I can... What I can see is this. Okay, so I can feel that the market is compressing, especially from this point to here. We're starting to narrow in. So let's see, and this particular week being a heavy data week for the Aussie dollar, I really feel that we may not hold on. If we can get a nice trade here, we could actually shoot all the way through. So we don't have one as we speak. Don't have a setup, but let's look for something just on this edge over here. So we're probably like 2-3 candles away, which may give us an opportunity to, at the very least, just to get to this level, and then for those of you who are a little bit more courageous and want to hang in, see if we can break through that support line. That trade looks really good, actually, to be honest. Like it's setting up really nicely. There's nothing there right now, but this type of setup is heavy compression happening coming into a week of a lot of data, so it could be just the right cocktail that we need. So let's keep an eye on that. Aussie US, we're looking for a shorting possibility on the top resistance line around about here. Alright, so let's carry on. Look at the Euro USD. Okay, the Euro USD just keeps coming, moving up. I believe we saw this as somewhere in the daily call. I believe we saw that trade as a body engulfing. Well, actually, I think we took it here last week. I don't remember, but we saw it late. It did shoot down, but we would have got stopped out on that one had we stayed in there. If you're still in that ride, well, I don't think you are right now. Is the channel still holding? Well, it was kind of still there. Look, if I do get another candle, I just get the feeling if it is a nice inside candle right here tomorrow, then, well, I've got to trade what I see, and I'm seeing that we're still inside this particular channel, and let's just see if this is the one that basically gives us out. Yeah, Rav's making a comment. Yeah, we got stopped out. I believe we got it a little bit late. We got it about here from memory, or we may have got it a little bit worse or a little bit better. I don't remember one or the other. And it did shoot down. We got close to that 1-to-1, but it didn't quite trigger to get the trigger. But anyway, there you go. So let's see what happens. We need to wait for the current candle to finish. Let me just double check that. Which is the higher? High. The current candle's got a high of 12,837, 12,840. Okay, so the current candle has a lower high than yesterday's, which means there would be a fractal on this candle tomorrow should this remain an inside candle. Okay, so this could be on tomorrow. So add this to your hot list and come back and let's check up on it. Alright, GBP USD. Alright, GBP USD, look, I've been moving this line as I feel fit. I've moved it again a tiny little bit. I haven't got much more room to go now. So I'm going to kind of have to keep it roughly where it is right now. But what I'm noticing is, look, we've got, that's like 1, 2, 3. There's 4 inside candles there to each other, which basically signals the market's actually doing this and compressing really, really tight. And this is a volatile week, so this is an interesting one. If I drop down a time frame, we should be able to see it better. See, there we go. That's a 1 hour time frame, and you can see that we're squeezing in. It's squeezing in on itself, and let's see where this one leads. At the moment, there's really nothing. We could have an argument that this is a fractal candle, but it's a double fractal candle, which is one of those things that I'm always a little bit iffy on the double fractal candle to use it. But if we were to use that candle, we have an inside candle. Let me zoom in so everybody can see it a bit better. We have the original candle there, then that one was inside, then that one was inside, and today's one at the moment is still inside. So we could technically try to trade the break in that direction. What do you think, guys? Do we want to try that one? The first question is, does it meet our criteria? So I shouldn't ask what do we think. First, does it meet our criteria? Yes or no? Okay, yes. The answer is yes, it does meet it. I got one comment there. Rav tells me that he's still in this trade from last week. Okay, yes, that makes sense. So you would have got in off this. Oh no, you would. Did you get in off this combination here as an engulfing? Was that the one? Yes. Okay. So we got one person who's still in this trade based on these 2 original candles from last week. I got an interesting comment here. Brett says, because it's going to be a volatile week because of the elections, he's reluctant to not trade this. That's a fair call. The only thing that I will say to that comment, and this applies to everybody, is if you feel that way, make sure that you write such a rule in your trading plan. Okay, I've seen many trading plans, and surprisingly, I still don't see people writing those things in there. And there's nothing wrong with that. The only reason I say that is because if I'm going to be true to a strategy, and then I decide not to take this particular one, for example, well then that would be considered cherry picking. Okay, so however, if every single time there is an election I decide not to trade, well then it's not cherry picking because I'm consistent. All right, so that's what I'm trying to say. So you have to be specific as well. So for example, does that mean you don't trade any setups leading into non-farm payroll? If that's your decision, if that's your opinion, then that's fine as well. But just make sure that you're consistent about it, because the whole idea is we want our sample space to be true and an honest sample space, which means we don't want to pick some trades yes and some trades no. Okay? Alright, so for me, it's not about the election. For me, it's a double fractal candle. Okay? And a double fractal candle usually means that the market's made a higher high and also a lower low, which means the market is confused. It's going into both directions. Okay, so in my trading rules, I don't use the candle with a double fractal for my setups. So that automatically means I cannot trade it. Does that make sense to everybody? So my reasoning is nothing to do with the election. I actually love news. I believe that some of these new pieces of news that come out, like non-farm payrolls, these are the things that move the market, that will assist my trade as much as they will upset my trade. So, and I'm happy with the probabilities that I have with my system, so I just ride it. Okay, but this is a double fractal candle, so this one for me does not count. Alright, so the options for us are, for those of you who don't mind the double candle, the double fractal candle, well then some of you may be in the trade already, but for those of you who are not, your entry would be just above that level there in this direction, on the proviso that we do not get lower than this. If we get lower than this point here, it's all off the table. Okay, does that make sense? I'm not going to trade this one, so I'm not placing the trade, but for those of you who want to, there it is. Alright, so let me see if there's anything else. The other option, of course, is if we get a big breaking candle downwards, like this, then tomorrow you can hit it there. That would be another option as well. Alright, let's move on. US yen. Okay, let me go back to that US yen question so it can make sense to me. A fall in channel on a US yen. I struggled to see this last week. Somebody brought it up last week and I said, no, I don't think it's a fall in channel. It didn't look correct. It was there, but I struggled to see it. I think it's over here. Like that. Oh, no, no, that's okay. No, that's fine. The channel is good, but we've broken up. So it's all over. That channel now is useless to me. I cannot use these lines for my analysis. Oh, let me just get my pen going. That line there and this line here, I can't use them. We've broken clearly up. So that's gone. Okay, so that is not a fake breakout, that's a proper breakout. Let me delete these now. Oh, Oh, this chart is not really speaking to me. Okay, there's a trade on right now, but I don't really like it that much. It doesn't meet my criteria. Not really, maybe. I'll show it to you. Let's see what you guys think. Okay, the trade, let me zoom in, is, look at these two candles there. What do we have on those two candles? Also note the moving averages have crossed. What am I trying to look at, guys? It's an engulfing candle. Yes, it is. Supposedly in a downtrend, which would mean sell straight away at the open of this green candle. Okay, now does it look like a downtrend? What do we think? Does it look like a downtrend? By definition, if I'm just using the moving averages, it's only just started. See, they just crossed over. Okay, so if I'm using the definition, then I guess we can say yes. It is kind of coming down. It's this point here which is kind of upsetting me a little bit. So what do we do? Let's put it to a vote. Do we trade it or do we not trade it? Yes or no? If you don't know, just put a question mark. It's either Y, N, or question mark. I just want to see what your eyes see compared to my eyes. Okay, it's unanimous. All but two people said yeah, said no. I actually think it's ranging right now, guys. If I go into a 4-hour chart, it feels like it's ranging more than anything else to me. To me, it feels like it's doing this. If anything, I actually want to trade. I'll show you what I want to trade. I'm in a 4-hour time frame. Let me zoom in now. I actually want to trade these candle combinations here back up there towards these levels. That's what I feel like doing. But there is no setup there either, so that's a no trade as well. Okay, there's no candle combination here. All right, so US yen 2 weeks in a row. It's just not looking. It's just not looking like a nice chart. So let's just leave it alone. Okay. All right, moving on. Euro yen. A lot of compression up there as well. Let me see, how does that level compare to other levels? Let's have a look at a 4-hour. It's come back. Remember, we were looking for something to come here to continue in that direction like that. It's not giving us any setups there, and it's produced that level there. And what I think is happening, what we may get is if we start to get a bit of a ceiling there, we could get like compression as that and then shoot out in this direction. That's what it feels like. It's not quite there yet, and there's no setups in any direction, left, right, or center here. So this is another one of these really bad charts. Like, this is why we haven't triggered many trading challenge trades right now, because there's just nothing available for us. Look, let's leave this one alone. But what I would be looking for, and I'm going to draw it right now, if I step into a 4-hour chart, what I'm looking for is this. I just want to draw this line across here, and I'm going to start to draw this kind of level across there. Alright, so what I'm actually thinking, this might, if I extend that out, this is what I'm looking for. I get the feeling that we may be stuck in that range until we break through one way or another. Okay. Alright, question. Someone's asking me, why was the US yen not a fake but a proper breakout? A fake breakout looks like this. It's only, let's say if we have, there's the level, okay? And a fake breakout usually will be like this. You'll just get a wick that goes through, but then it'll come back and close inside the support. Okay, so you have your candles down here, down there, whatever. You get, this is the level, and usually it's caused by all these stop orders right over here. So what happens is the market trickles through, grabs all those stop orders, and then the smart money comes back in and drives the market back and stays underneath the resistance. Okay, in the case of that US yen, the candles actually went on and just kept on building up and then came back down. That's not a break. That's not a fake breakout. That's just a normal market movement. Okay. All right. Kiwi dollar. This is we were actually going to be. I think I was looking for maybe a trade if I could hit one down that way, but nothing came of it. Kiwi dollar's been quite strong recently. We're heading towards 72. Looks like it. This is a really solid candle. That candle there is really good bull candle. Let me just take a look further out. I get the feeling this top line may come into play. Yep. Hang on, I might be able to adjust it a bit better and grab that third one too. Okay, so I'm going to leave that top line there. I don't think we're going to need this one now, so let's get rid of it. If we were trying to trade trend towards this line, there's nothing there right now. Like, we would have missed it. There was no opportunity. Alright, so the game plan here is let's see what happens, and I like this level because this is going to be very close to that 72. Okay, so there could be an opportunity at this level here to hit it and come back down. Questions asked: can we trade this as a breakout candle? Well, technically it would have been this one. This is the first one. Okay, but the market's already made a movement back down, so this now no longer counts as a breakout candle. It's still definitely a strong bull candle, but you can't just trade a bull candle because the bull candle, it's not situated correctly and it hasn't made the functionality of the way that what we would be expecting to trade. So no, the answer is I would not go long based on that candle. If that candle was this one, then yes, that would be a reason if I was a breakout candle. The question now is this a body engulfing candle? It is. I looked at that. I thought about that. Everyone here knows that of all the price action strategies that I trade, the one that I like the least is the one that has a lower probability level is compared to like resistance and support is trend. Okay, so trend you don't get the win ratios as good as the other ones. Oh, okay. So let's say that, okay, I can't argue against a reason not to take this. So if I trade what I see, technically that is a body engulfing candle. Okay. My only reason not to take it, Paul, is that I don't feel I've got enough space and room to hit my targets. So let's say my stop would have to be here. In theory, the entry would have been here where the market opened this morning. All right, so that means 1-to-1 would put me very, very close to that line, and it would be arguable if I can get it. So because of that reason, and typically with trend I want to chase more the 2-to-1 than ever because we're in trend. It would put me up there somewhere, so we would have to break through that level to hit it. Now that's not to say that it can't happen, but this line across here that I've just drawn looks pretty solid to me, so I'm thinking if I got something, if I can't get to my 1-to-1 level comfortably, well then in my trading rules, then I don't take the trade. Okay, so for that reason, I'm not going to take this one. Okay, I hope that makes sense. For some of you, you may want to take it anyway, and that's fine. That's cool. To be honest, the one that I'm looking for is this one here, back down. Now, it's got to get there first, and then the argument is, well, if it's going to get there, why not trade it up right now? Well, I've just explained my reasons for that, so I hope that makes sense. All right, so let's carry on. US CAD. Let me just see what all these lines are about. Okay, US CAD, I'm coming up to this level here. There was no trades over here. I get the feeling we might get this candle like this, and then you can trade back down to the other side of the channel on this one. This is what I think is going to be the setup. Now we've got to wait for it, but that's what looks like is a likely contender for this particular setup. Right now where it is, there is really nothing. If you're going to trade trend, these two there, it's not a setup, so you can't take it down. Let me see a 4-hour chart. There's a little channel on a 4-hour chart. You can see here we've got one touch here, two touches down the bottom, and we've got one and we've got two up the top, so we're coming right up here. So possibly over the next two candles, which should be by about 10 p.m. tonight, you may have a setup to trade back into this direction. Okay, that's on a 4-hour chart. So I've stepped down into a 4-hour chart. Alright, so that's the only possibility that I can see right now with the US CAD, and I'm really, really looking for it too. Alright, have a look at gold. Alright, so let me adjust this line. See how it's that is not a break, guys, because this line is only here temporary because I don't know where it's going to turn around, remember? So what I can do, I get the feeling that I'm just going to keep adjusting this until the market heads back down, and once it starts to head back down, then that's it. I can lock the line in, and then we can look for the trade on this side in this direction, or however it pans out. Okay, and if you look at it, it's looking really nice and smooth. This is really kind of smooth chart, and what I mean by smooth is you can see here there's just nice smooth, and maybe back down. Let's find out what happens. All right, so we're getting closer. It's still not quite ready yet. So when you follow a pattern this long and you start to track a pattern this long, you just got to make sure that when the trade opportunity shows itself up, that we don't chicken out, and we stick by our guns, and we follow the rules, and we apply the principles that we set out to apply from the beginning. Okay, so don't forget that. We could be, I think maybe by next week, if we start to show that we're falling down, then we can lock the top line in and we can start looking for the trade. Let's have a look at oil. Okay, we drew that channel. I'm just adjusting slightly. I just want to okay, that's a daily. The channel is good. I'm happy with the channel. We got 2 touches on each side. 1, 2, 1, 2. That means now we are ready to trade. So the options are, next time it gets to here or here, we're looking for this trade. Okay, we're looking for that trade. So this one's set, locked and loaded. Make sure you add this to your hot chart list, because on oil we are ready to go. We just got to wait for the market to come to us, to the specific hotspot, and then if we get the price action that we look for, then we can pull and trigger a trade. Okay, all right guys, let me summarize. Markets are awful today. There's just nothing. If you want me to look at something, please type it in. Any questions, let me know while I recap. Aussie dollar. I just drew these 2 lines right now. I just get the feeling the market is compressing, and we're going into a volatile week. So let's see if something happens in here. We shoot up either way. So it doesn't matter which direction. Let's just see if we can catch it. Euro USD, we are on the fringe. Let's see tomorrow if we have an inside candle there, we can hit this one, and let's see if the euro can start to fall and start to pay back some of the pips that it's taken from us. Okay, so but don't trade it until you see it. Otherwise, just walk away from it, let it take off, and just watch it. GBP USD, tight compression. The election's on this Thursday. We do have a trade right now. We put it to a vote and we decided that we're not taking it. Okay, for me the reason is that it's a double fractal candle. US yen feels like it's compressing. It's starting to range. There is, on a 4-hour chart, there's probably closer to a trade, but there's no trade whatsoever on the US yen. So let's leave it alone. Euro yen, again, very similar. I've just drawn in these 2 lines just to remind me of what I think may happen and just to start to follow it so that I can track it easier. Kiwi dollar, Kiwi dollar. If you're trading the trend-based method, there is a body engulfing right now, and if you take it right now, I guess you will have more space because you're getting at a better entry. So your stop's going to be about 60, let's call it 68, let's say, and you've got about 93 pips to that top resistance. So that's enough for your one-to-one. So for those of you who want it, that's the Kiwi dollar right now. US CAD on a 4-hour chart, we are down the bottom of a channel, so let's wait maybe 1 or 2 more candles and see what we get there. Gold, we're still tracking and trying to lock in this top line. We're not there yet, still nothing happening. And finally in oil, we've definitely got a locked channel, downward channel. So now we wait for the market to come to the perimeters and then we look for the trade. Okay, let me just take a couple of these questions. One moment. Someone's saying, can I have a look at the New Zealand CAD? Give me a second. Let me find the New Zealand CAD first of all. Okay, so New Zealand CAD, if we say that we're trading like a double top. Now remember, double tops are only double tops after um, after they actually go down. So it's considered an aggressive trade, because if this just keeps on going in that direction, when you come back and you look at it, you would have never thought that it was a double top. Okay, so in reality, a double top is a little bit of an aggressive trade. So this particular one here, um, there is currently an inside candle. So if you're going to trade it off a daily, possibly we could get it tomorrow. If you wanted to try it off a 4 hour, it's already triggered, and actually off the 4 hour it's already hit first target. Okay, so off a 4 hour you're too late, so that means you only got to look at off daily. Okay, so there you go, Craig. That's the Kiwi CAD. Okay, Phoebe's asking, can I have a look at the Aussie CAD? 1 second, I'll have a look at the Aussie CAD now. Let me just zoom out a bit. On a daily chart, nothing really happening here. On a 4 hour chart, nothing really happening here either. So this is a chart that I would not trade. I don't see a specific setup on it. Okay, so there's nicer charts than this one. So this one I wouldn't trade this one. Okay. Okay, the question specifically is, would I trade this as an engulfing candle off this support level down here? Let's ask everybody else. Maybe because it's a pair that I don't look at often, but let's make it a proper channel, because I can actually grab these top two up here as well. Okay, so now let me ask the room. I've got one touch, I've got two touches, I've got one touch, I've got two touches. Is that okay to trade? What do we think, guys? Yes or no? What will we do? First question, do we like the channel? Okay, good. Couple Hubert, a channel is a channel. It doesn't have to be at an angle. Okay, flat channels like this are actually spotted by more people than the ones that are at angles, which actually generally means it's got more participation, which helps our trades even better. Okay, so the angle of the channel doesn't really matter. All right, it's not an inside candle, it's a body engulfing. So my favorite is an inside. My second favorite is just a straight out engulfing. And then the third type, if I really want to trade, is a body engulfing. So I guess on that criteria it does meet it. So if you were wanting to trade it, you would have entered right here this morning when it opened, which puts your target there and your second target there. Plenty of space, so that's a yes. Okay, so well spotted there, Phoebe. Thank you for that one. Aussie CAD. If anybody's interested, you're a little bit late on it right now, but there you have it. Shane's making a comment. Looks like the CCI indicator shows the CCI indicator. I'm not really using it for this setup at all, guys. But actually, CCI at this level, it doesn't mean actually CCI at this level means strength in this direction. It's not. This indicator is not a turning point indicator. It's a measure of trend strength. Okay, so it's actually for a different strategy. I don't know why it's on this chart. I should remove it, but just to clarify that. Okay. Give me a sec. There's a couple of other questions. Give me one moment. Somebody also asked me about the Swiss CAD as well. So CAD's very popular today. Swiss CAD this time. Let me see. Where's the Swiss CAD? The CAD Swiss. Let me zoom out. Okay, this one, there's really nothing on this one. It's gone through this bottom level here. So it's actually broken through, so I can't trade support back up there because it's gone through. And it's not necessarily the best breaking candle either, so I can't trade in this direction. So this one, I'll just walk away from this one. Okay, so CAD Swiss, no, it's not. There are better charts. Okay, let me just see. Someone's asking about silver. Let me just have a quick look at silver. Silver, let's have a look. Today's daily call was on palladium. There's a really nice resistance line on that one. Okay, let me have a look at silver. What have I got? It's a really nice chart actually. It's moving around. The only thing about this particular chart is we're coming up to the 61.8 fib retracement, but that's about it. There's nothing else happening. But what I like about this chart is the way it's moving. Like it's zigzagging really nicely. Like it's zigzagging nice smooth lines. So I'm expecting, so that I like that about this chart. I can just see it as soon as I look at it, but there's no trade right now. Okay, you're getting close to a 61.8 level, so maybe any fib traders, you might be interested in that. Okay, any final questions before we wrap up for today? No? Okay, well then look, hang on a sec. Okay, so question, is gold valued against the US dollar? The answer is yes. If so, does it mean that if the US dollar is suffering, gold suffers, goes up? Okay, who can answer that question? Let me ask the question to everybody in a different way. When people panic and worry, do they put their money into paper, which is just worth the ink that it's printed on, or do they try and put their money in the commodities that are in the earth there's a limited finite source of? Okay, so the answer, so they're directly, so in times of uncertainty, in volatile times, people tend to move money into what they call safe havens, and gold is seen as a safe haven. Okay, so if there's only, you can't make more gold. It's only whatever we can find on this earth. That's it. Whereas we can print as much money as we want, and it can devalue in the process of doing so. So there you go. Okay. Hopefully that explains it a little bit. Alright guys, I hope you'll have a great trading week. Keep watching the daily call. If you do have any questions, email me. I always respond. Sometimes it takes me a little bit longer because I do get a lot of emails, but I do always respond. For those of you who are coming to the workshop tomorrow, I look forward to seeing you. Other than that, I hope you have a great week, and I'll speak to you tomorrow for the daily call. Bye for now.